Plug and pay. Tech giants with the trust problem take aim at the world's most sensitive industry. Big tech takes aim at the low profit retail banking industry. 왜?
기침이는데 아빠가 들리고.
숙제하는 건데. Silicon Valley firms, giants are after your data, not your money. The annual Web Summit in Lisbon last year, each year, is Woodstock for geeks. Over 3 days, in November, 70,000 tech buffs and investors gather on grounds the size of a small town. Rockstars like Wikipedia's boss, 아무도 없어?
처음 봤어요.
And Huawei's chairman parade on the main stage. Elsewhere, people queue for 3D printed jeans and watch startups pitch from a boxing ring. Money managers announce dazzling funding rounds. Panelists predict a cashless future while gazing into a giant crystal ball. A credit card mogul dishes out company-colored macarons. Yet the hype conceals rising nervousness among the fintech participants. After years of timidity, big tech with its billions of users and gigantic war chest at last appears serious about crashing their party. 좀 빼줄까? It is the one group that we are very scared about, that everyone is most scared about. Says Daniel Weber, a data firm. Each of the so-called GAFA giants is making moves. Amazon introduced a credit card for underbanked shoppers in June. Apple launched this credit card in August. Facebook announced a new payment system on November 12th. It's mooted the cryptocurrency. Libra, however, has lost many of its backers and will face stiff regulatory scrutiny. The next day, Google said it would start offering checking accounts or current accounts in America in 2020. Individually, each initiative is relatively minor, says Anthony, a former boss of blah 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 blah. But together, they mark the acceleration of a trend that could reshape the finance industry. The GAFAs have long had an interest in banking, in finance, but until recently, they focused on payments, each in its own way. Apple Pay and Google Pay are digital wallets. They hold a digital version of a credit card, digital version of a card, but do not process transactions. Neither charges merchants a fee. They simply store everything in one place and make payments more secure by masking customer details. Google collects transaction data and Apple does not. Otherwise, holding a phone over a contactless terminal is the same as tapping a card. Facebook Pay stores card detail for use on the group's various apps: Facebook, Messenger, Instagram, and WhatsApp. So customers need not enter them every time. Amazon Pay does the same and also save card details for payments on partner websites. Uniquely processed payments, a task others leave to specialist firms. When a purchase is made through Amazon Pay, it asks the card issuer if there are sufficient funds, and if the answer is yes, the shop releases the goods. The money itself moves at the end of the day. What these systems share is their limited success. After 8 years, Google Pay has just 12 million users in America, a market of 130 million households. Only 14% of the country's households with the credit cards use Apple Pay at least twice a month. In October, the number of customers who used Amazon Pay was just 5% of the number who used PayPal, says Second Measure, a data firm. This contrasts with the explosive growth of WeChat Pay and Alipay, China's super apps. This allows shoppers to pay for nearly everything, nearly anything, from tea to taxi to by scanning a QR code. Launched in 2013, they have over 1 billion users each. They process transactions worth a third of China's consumption spending, and are now big lenders in their own right. But the comparison is unfair. China was able to leapfrog the world because of permissive regulation and a lack of existing digital payment methods. The rich world already had a decent credit card system, points out Aaron, a think tank limiting the appetite for novel solutions. Financial red tape also binds tightly in the West. To operate as a payment institutions across America, newcomers need a license in every state. That makes the GAFA's move into retail banking even more puzzling. Since the financial crisis, credit provision has become one of the world's most regulated activities. That constrains returns on capital and profits. Western lenders' valuations are a fraction of tech firms. Knows Shankar, a consultancy. Why would big tech want to be a bank? The answer is twofold. The tech giants may not know exactly what they want, may not yet know exactly what they want, says Martin. Silicon Valley likes to place bets and see what sticks, and they probably do not actually want to be banks as long as consumers do not notice. At bottom, a bank is a balance sheet, a factory that turns capital into financial products. For example, loans and mortgages, and a sales force. The first two are highly regulated, and big tech is uninterested. That's why the giants have turned to banks to do the tedious bits. Apple Card is issued by Goldman Sachs, and Amazon's loans by Chase. Google's accounts are backed by Citi and a banking account. Rather, the tech giants covet this distribution. Their smarter systems and lack of branches should enable them to strip cost out, says Tara Reeves of Mars Venture, the venture capital firm of a Canadian pension fund. More importantly, selling banking products should lead more people to use their payment systems. Apple and Google want one more reason for consumers to keep their phone under the pillow at night, says Lisa. Amazon wants payments in-house so users never leave its app. But above all, the GAFAs want data. They are already good at inferring consumers' preferences from borrowing patterns and location. But spending patterns are more useful. They could be used to assess ads performance or promote products. An investor says tech giants could even start dispensing financial advice. It may take them some time to get there. Current accounts are sticky, according to Novantis, a financial consultancy. Only 8% of American retail consumers switch banks each year. Yet they should enjoy having more choice. Free purse and a greater user experience could sway them, especially if they know that a bank is in charge of the sensitive bits. Lenders will also welcome big tech, at least initially. Distribution accounts for half of the operating costs at America's typical retail bank. Tying up with the GAFA would be a neat way to access new deposits, a cheap source of funding. Yet, as big tech starts to own consumer relationships, banks could lose clout. They may be forced to give away more data and fees, says Andre. They could end up akin to utilities, providing low margin financial plumbing. Squeezed profits could lead to a wave of mergers and closures. Digital upstarts will also feel the hit, especially if big tech cross subsidies its financial offerings. Regulators have so far seen new entrants in financial services as a welcome catalyst for the innovation banks have failed to foster. That could change if the giants charge in. At the Web Summit, Margaret, the European Union's competition commissioner and a GAFA skeptic, mused about the risks to democracy if tech firms become too powerful to oversee and regulate. We can reach for the potential, she told the amped up audience in Lisbon, but we can also do something to control the dark side.